When KSI and Jake Paul have their fight, it seems like we're never going to know the answer. To find the answer, it looks like we're going to have to search from one end of the galaxy to another to find out when these two are actually going to have their fight. And in all honesty, this is the only YouTube boxing fight that I want to see now. And let's be honest, it's pretty much the same for you lot. You all want to see the same. And let's be honest, it's the only fight that you guys probably care about as well. But the question is, when will they have their fight? Well, I don't have your answer. But today, I want to talk about this fight one last time. Because I feel like I've got a lot to get off my chest. And I promise you now, I'm not going to talk about this fight unless it gets confirmed or there's some sort of big news of like, I don't know, a potential date of when it could happen. But I'm done talking about it now. But the ultimate question is this fight actually going to happen or what? Well, I've got an answer for you. So the founder and creator of OP Talent, which this is the guy who was essentially the main reason why Eddie Hearn got involved with Logan Paul and KSI 1, he went on Jackmate's Happy Hour podcast and, well, he says that this fight is going to happen. So if he is saying that this fight is going to happen, it probably will happen. But in all honesty, we're going to be waiting for years, aren't we? Because, you know, you got KSI who's doing his music thing at the moment. And then you've got Jake who maybe needs to fight a rematch with Tyron Woodley. And then also he's got to fight Tommy Fury. Oh, and then of course KSI needs to have a warm-up fight, which would most likely be Austin McBroom. So yeah, I'm reckoning maybe a year or two. And that's at a push. And here is the overall thing between these two fights. Jake Paul is sat here saying, I'm going to fight KSI whenever, wherever. It's now essentially up to KSI to say, yes, I will do the fight. I'm ready. Let's do it. But obviously we all know by now KSI... well, it is just excuse after excuse. Like, fair play to JJ. He hasn't been boxing for well over a year, coming up to 2 years actually. So I don't think anyone's expecting him to go into a training camp and then just jump straight in the ring with Jake Paul. No one's expecting that. But what we are expecting is just some honesty. Like, is it really that difficult to just be honest about this now? The problem with KSI is he just keeps going back on everything that he keeps saying. The problem with JJ is he just keeps going back on what he's been saying about this fight. And if you still support JJ after everything I'm going to show you in this video, well, you're probably going to support JJ through no matter what. So JJ recently uploaded on his Clips channel a clip that was titled, "Why KSI Doesn't Need to Fight Jake Paul." So just to save you listening to 1 minute of absolute garbage, he basically says that right now the only thing that he needs is his music. He doesn't need to fight Jake because he's already making so much money from music, like his music is so successful. And you know, this is coming from the guy that's said multiple times that he doesn't care about money and it's not his main priority. And this is the guy who's apparently extremely humble whilst he's literally bragging for 1 minute straight about how successful his music is and how he's making millions of pounds from it. But you know, take it or leave it, you know, you probably will be arrogant if you're as successful as he is, but you know, there's nothing humble about anything that he says. So later on about this interview, of course, he brings up Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. And JJ says this.
You gotta remember, I beat Logan Paul, the older brother. So why would I struggle against the younger brother? Like,
oh my God. Are you joking? Are you actually joking here? He literally said the opposite like a couple months ago.
Has worked hard and is training hard. And don't get it twisted. I'm not going to be overconfident. I know he's going to be harder than Logan.
Like, come on. The hypocrisy of this guy. It's a joke. Honestly, at this point, I just think he doesn't even want to do this fight anymore. But the problem is he said time and time again, I'm going to do this fight. I'm up for this fight. But the thing is every single time someone brings it up to him as to why, like, when are you fighting KSI? Whenever this whole conversation gets brought up, the story changes every single time. Here's the thing, I would respect JJ so much more if he just come out and said, I don't want to fight Jake, like, I'm doing my music, like, for my music, I'm clearly the far superior music artist than Jake, but Jake is clearly the better boxer, so should we just leave it there? Like, they're both going to win if JJ comes out and just says that. But no, it just keeps getting dragged on and on. Dragging this on, it's not going to help JJ, it's not going to make people forget. At the end of the day, it's just going to make people think he's bitching out of it. If he came out and made a blunt statement saying, I'm not doing this fight, people will forget about it and move on. But the fact that he keeps dragging it on is just making it worse for himself. It's the exact same situation with Adam Salo. Remember, like a month ago or 2 months ago, whenever it was, Adam was talking shit about JJ for ages, and JJ finally said, okay, I'm going to shut you up and I'm going to spar you. But when it came down to it, surprise, surprise, JJ was all talk, and then when the date got closer, it was just riddled with excuses. Adam wanted to film the spar for one reason: for evidence. So he wanted to film it so that JJ and his team basically couldn't lie about what happened, because if it wasn't filmed and Adam did turn up for this spar, JJ could literally turn around and say, I absolutely beat him up and all this stuff, and everyone would side with JJ because he has such a loyal fan base, and no one would believe Adam. He literally wanted it just for evidence. JJ and his team kept saying, no, you can't film it, because they knew that if Adam wasn't going to be able to film it, he's not going to turn up. And that's perfect for them. JJ said he was down again for something, like he's been saying he's down for fighting Jake, but when it came down to it, he essentially bottled it. And then he came up with all these excuses that literally made no sense. The excuse on JJ's side was, oh, we don't want KSI to reveal his new technique. What technique? Adam Salah's like 5'7". If you know anything about boxing at all, one of the most simple, basic things is you will fight people differently according to their height. You will not fight someone who's 5'7" the same as someone who's like Jake, who's 6 foot or 5'11", whatever he actually is. He would fight Adam completely differently. So that technique, whatever a technique he applies to beat Adam would be completely different to Jake, because they're two different sizes. And then there was the excuse of people saying that JJ didn't want to reveal how much he's improved. Mate, are you kidding me? This spar right now, as we all know, would literally be maybe years away from when he fights Jake. So there would be so much improvement in that time. So that again makes no sense. Oh god. This didn't get filmed simply because JJ was saying all this crap when someone was actually down to say, alright, I'm going to call your bluff. It was typical JJ side, where they always want to look like they're winning and they never want to look bad. So obviously they immediately turned it around on Adam and said, oh, the only reason, we're not doing this spar because, you're not even in England yet. But the thing is why would Adam spend all of this money coming to England if their plans weren't even finalised? It's like going on a holiday without booking a hotel. You don't do that. But, of course, again, they got away with that, and people weren't like, this doesn't make any sense. There's still people defending them. And here's the thing. It's just this constant cycle. JJ says he's amazing. He says he's this. He says he's doing this and that. And then JJ slags off other people's, like specifically Jake, saying that he can easily beat Jake. But then he keeps making all these excuses as to why he's not gonna box. JJ saying that he's training, but there's literally no evidence. There's no proof of it besides people saying it's happening. It's just this constant cycle of people trying to manipulate the audience, acting as if they are on the top of the game when they're not. Like, I still see comments to this day where people are like, oh, KSI's just a winner. He always wins in everything he does. Well, clearly he hasn't, because he hasn't won this boxing argument. Because everyone who isn't a fan of KSI is like me, who's on the outside thinking, is this a joke? Like, I'm not the only person that's thinking this. I'm just saying it because I don't really care if people agree or disagree. Like, I've literally been saying comments from you guys on my Instagram of people even in JJ's Reddit. Like, even KSI's fans. I'm not saying that every single one of KSI fans are, like, loyal and obsessed, but there is a large amount of them that still say that he's this and that. But the best thing is there is a massive amount of JJ's fans who are now looking at him saying, like, I like you, JJ, but can you stop chatting shit about everyone and saying how good you are, and you're literally not proving yourself? Like, it's just getting a bit old now. Because at the end of the day, the guy is making a fool out of himself. But then Jake isn't really dealing with it, as well either. Jake was saying stupid stuff like, oh, I think the fight's done, I think the beef's done, it's never going to happen. And then when he gets asked about it, he says, yeah, I'm down to do it. Like, where is the clarity in this? Like, like these two, It can't be that difficult, okay? I know JJ keeps saying that he wants to do his music. That's fair enough. But just say definitively whether you think that you're going to fight Jake or not. If you think you are, leave it at that. And just don't keep saying that you're doing all this. And don't keep interacting with all these people if you're not going to, actually do what you're going to say. The thing is JJ has a lot, and I do mean a lot, to back up all the stuff he's been saying for the last 2 years. And Jake needs to fight KSI so that Jake can move on from the YouTube boxing and just stay into that, that real professional boxing world and fight professionals. These two need to get their shit together, stop acting so immature, and just sort it out. It's like, I get it, JJ's doing his music, but for God's sake, for your integrity, surely if you're that confident, there's so much time for you to build up on your music. Why can't you just go into this training camp? Why can't you just go into this fight? Whether you win or lose, it's not going to affect your music career. Just get the fight done. I'm fed up with all the talking. I'm genuinely done talking about it. I said my piece. I think it's just stupid at this point that it's just carrying on. Either it's going to happen or it's not. And I'm sick of it being like blurred lines whether we know what's going to happen or not. And I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm not going to pay any attention to it unless it gets confirmed or denied whether it's happening. There we go. I got my rant over with. I'm done with these two donuts having this fight. I'm sick and tired of it. Let's just talk about other stuff and make videos that isn't just about these two and whatever the hell they're doing. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.